How's it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Cash, and this is Weekly Recap. Let's talk about it. What is Weekly Recap? I'm going to tell you about me operating this truck in the United States for 1 week, give you a little breakdown of the loads I did, why I did them, and how it all shaped out for me. I don't talk about the carrier I'm leased onto, but I'm leased onto an 80-20 split carrier. I run a fuel efficient operation with a 2016 Cascadia, and I pull mostly reefer freight. If it's anything different, I'll be sure to let you know. And with that being said, let's get at it. So I did 2 loads this week. My normal thing, I like to get loaded in Minnesota, go out, come back, take some time off, rinse, repeat, go out, come back. That's just how I built this. That's how I like to do it. Not really much of a road warrior anymore like I used to be, staying out, 4 or 5 weeks at a time. It's just not for me. So I took a load Minnesota down to Georgia, and then I came right back. So I'll tell you about the loads a little bit here. The first load, Minnesota down to Georgia, and this is the end of July 2023. So if you're watching this in the future, some context with the numbers here. So anyway, that load Minnesota down to Georgia, 38-degree load, 34 degrees, and that load paid $3,500, 71 empty miles, 1197 on the loaded miles. And then down there to Georgia and got a load back out of Georgia. That load was 1 pick, 3 drops. Like I say, picked up in Georgia, first stop in Wisconsin, and then 2 stops in Minnesota. So that was the week. That was completely, 7-day week we're looking at here. Freight rates are just tough right now. That load coming out of Georgia was only 8,000 pounds, and it was negative 10 degrees at $2,800. So I was happy to get that because let's face it, I need all the fuel economy I can get right now because with rates being down, I need to make it up in other places, thin out the budget a little bit, get rid of some things that aren't needed in life right now is the ebb and flow of things. So when things are good, you add on a few of this, and you add on a few of that, and then when things kind of get slow again, you kind of start thinking about what do I really need? Do I need certain things that I have, subscriptions to, or do I need certain things that normally I would just no thought process, just get it. And now is the time where you got to start thinking about it. You got to start running that business high and tight because the income is not what it used to be just a year or two ago. So we're back to being a business, in my opinion. We got a couple years of trucking there where it was like, I'll try later. I'll just make a bunch of money now, and what happens happens. But now it's gotten real. It's real, almost too real, some would say. So I was happy to get that load, especially when I realized it only weighed 8,000 pounds. I was like, that's kind of what I need. I need something where I can get some really good fuel economy because I just came back from vacation on this load. I took a week off in July. So basically, I did the I did the immature thing. I kind of ran my truck to the house with no fuel just because I wanted to hurry up and get back to the house. I had done a little like favor load. If you go back and watch the last weekly recap, um, kind of did me good, but also like it was a shorter run than I normally do, just like down to Chicago and back. And I didn't even put fuel in for that. I was just like, I'll get fuel when I get back from vacation. You know what I mean? Just laziness. More than anything, it was just laziness. Um, so, with that being said, load back from Georgia, 57 empty miles, 1219 loaded miles, 1276 total miles on that. Let's go talk about this week and the money and the breakdown of the numbers on this week. Minnesota to Georgia, Georgia back to Minnesota here. So, total revenue for the week, $6,300. And it just is what it is. It's kind of getting hard to make, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10,000. I don't even see a 10,000 remotely close here lately. And that used to be before COVID. That was like my week that I always wanted as an owner operator, a $10,000 week. And then during 2020 and parts of 20, well, basically parts of The end of 2020, all of 2021 was just, you didn't even have to try. I mean, 10 grand a week was just a given. And now we're back to like, the goal is that 10 grand, but it ain't looking good here lately, you know what I mean? Um, that load to Georgia during 2020 probably was like $5,000-$6,000 run. Now it's $3,500. Load back, I'm okay with 2,800 to come back. I know a lot of people think that's probably a little light, but out of Georgia back to Minnesota, that's not a bad rate actually, especially for what we're doing right now. So I was really happy with that one, like I said. But yeah, I was trying to keep it above 7,000 a week, and then I was like, okay, well, I'll be happy with 7,000 a week. It's like I'm just steadily coming down on these, trying to stay realistic with it and not disappoint myself. So that's why I don't have too much of a goal when it comes to how much revenue I make, or, I kind of got an amount I need. That way, I can, after everything gets their hands in my honey, it still leaves me something there, to do what I got to do with. But 6,300, it was like I got unloaded one day and then I didn't get reloaded till the afternoon the next day. So it's 7 days on the road, 6 days of work. And I'm just not a fan of, like, I probably could have, got another 500 or so in for the week if I would have did like a little day run or something. But for me, I'm just not a huge fan of those day runs. You take a lot of risk for a little bit of money, in my opinion. So if that's your thing and you know it and you work it, it's fine. But for me, I'm not going to risk that load back to Minnesota over, a $500 or $600 run in the Atlanta metro area. Just how I see it. You can do it different if you want, but that's how I see it. So total revenue for the week, 6,300. My 80% of that is $5,040, and it is what it is. Let's talk about the miles. 2544 all miles, 128 empty miles, 2416 on the loaded miles. Puts me in at 247 all miles. $1.98 is my 80% per mile, and 261 a loaded mile. So, good, bad, indifferent. That load leaving out, I should have called in earlier, but when I'm on vacation, I really didn't want to be dealing with business, so I kind of waited till like the vacation was over to, call and try to get a load on a Friday. So I kind of short spaced myself a little bit there. I think I could have done better coming out of Minnesota to Georgia, but facts are facts. You take what you can get sometimes. So we deal with that. But 261 for loaded miles is about where the going rate is for reefer right now. I feel like that's a very average week. So let's talk about the expenses of the week. I spent $1,809 on diesel for the week, and that's what I bought. That's not what I used. So I started off the week at a pretty low amount. Pretty much had to stop immediately after I got loaded and fill her up. So, and then I really don't like to leave the truck when I come back to it less than a half a tank. So I bought more than I used this week for sure. 133 on reefer fuel, $42 on def fluid, $13. I did scale the load going down just because it was such a mixed load. It wasn't like a real uniform 38,000 pounds, and I'm glad I did because it was loaded on all the heavy stuff was right on the end of the load. So, the trailer was heavy and the truck was light, so had to adjust that accordingly. $16 in tolls, and that was it for variable cost. $2,013 variable cost. Bring over my $5,040. Subtract the $2,013 in variable cost out of that, and that leaves me with $3,027 left to do what I have to do with. We put in, 500 to the maintenance account, and that leaves me 2527 left to do what I have to do with. Pretty average week, it's what it is. And fuel costs for the week, 71 cents a mile for fuel costs for the week. I would say I'm probably somewhere for the month of July. I did not look it up. I know the week before was like 36 cents a mile. And then the week before that was like 50 cents a mile. So probably average somewhere around 50 cents a mile. Fuel cost, not the end of the world for me because most of that was purchased in Illinois and they got a high ifta. So my fuel cost kind of looks high, but a lot of that's going to ifta. So it's just kind of the way it shakes out. Just the way it shakes out. So that's what it is, guys. That's the weekly recap. Trucking is getting tight. Whew, now is the time you to really button her up and get her down pat because we're getting in a stretch right now where fuel is starting to creep back up on us and the rates are not reflecting the fuel cost increase. So my recommendation, get that fuel economy as good as you can get it. Always be working on that. Good times, bad times, always work on that. And a little reminder to you right now, go through and think about what you're spending your money on. Is it really needed? Do you need that subscription that you haven't used in 2 months? Can that go? You know, just a little food for thought for you there. I ain't trying to preach to you. I just a little reminder. I went through the other day and I got rid of I was paying for 2 GPS subscriptions and I just didn't never. It was like $10 a month, so I never took the time to go through and like figure out which account it was set up on. And I went through and did about 5 or 6 of those, and damnedest thing was I cleared up about 70. I think it was $74. $74 I cleaned up every month there, and stuff that I really ain't gonna be missing. Just needed to take the time to go through and just get every little thing out of there that wasn't needed. And it pays dividends long term. That's $74 a month. May not seem like a lot, but over time, that's almost $1,000 a year of things not needed, and now they're gone. So that's $1,000 I can invest or put back into my business. So yeah, try to think of some things you can get rid of right now. I know it's just tough, but honestly, it's good for us, to get into our business more, take that time. I like the GPS thing. I kept saying, "Oh, I'll do it next month. I'll do it next month. They already got me this month. I'll do it next month." And then it's like, before you know it, I've paid 30 or $40 to that company that I didn't need to. So, you know, a little food for thought for you there. Appreciate everybody watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you made it this far, smash the like button. If you're not a subscriber, think about it. It's free right now. If you click on it, I'll give you one for free. And come join me for a live show. Remember, take care of each other out there. People are more important than trucking. Hi, I want to talk to you today about the ES Advantage card. Everybody use my link to sign up down there. Get a $35 statement credit if you sign up before the end of August 2023. Also, you will receive major discounts at truck stops on fuel, tires, and maintenance, labor rates, all that.